Good morning, Kindergarten, and welcome back to another day of learning on our channel. Now, as you guys can see, Miss Maynard is sitting down, so that means we will not be doing a full calendar today, but I already set my date up here for you guys to see, so let's go over that really quickly. So we are in the month of June. Yesterday was the 3rd, so today is the 4th, and we are in the year 2020. Now, yesterday was Wednesday, so that means today is Thursday. This is our last video of the week, and I'm very proud of all the work that I've heard and seen you guys do. Now, let's get right into today. So today we're going to be doing a quick drill cards. We're going to do our large cards. We're going to do our digraphs. We're going to do our vowels. And then we're going to do a quick trick word flashcard drill. After that, similar to last week, we're going to get into another story this week. So this week I have a brand new story for you guys, and I think you are going to enjoy it. So first things first, let's get right into our drill sounds. You guys ready? We are starting with V, van, v. R, rat, K, kite, k. T, top, t. Z, zebra, z. P, pan, p. F, fun, f. B, bat, b. H, hat, h. G, game, g. D, dog, d. S, snake, s. All right, let's go through our vowel cards. We are going to start with U, up, I, itch, O, octopus, A, apple, E, ed, Great. Let's move right into our digraph cards. We're starting with SH, ship, sh. WH, whistle, w. TH, thumb, th. CH, chin, ch. CK, sock, k. Quick question. Why do we have CK last in our digraph cards? Do you remember? It's because CK is always at the end of each word that it's in. All right, so remember that. That's a great little tool to remember for when you're tapping out and when you're writing words. Let's go right into our trick word flashcards. We're going to move through these quickly, so I'm going to set it down, read it, and you're going to echo after me. All right? You guys ready? Was, are, and, to, is, his, as, has. Good. The, they, we, he, she, be, me. You, I, or, for, of, have. Great. So now let me show you the story that we are going to get in today. Da-da-da. The story of Ferdinand. And this story is all about a bull. So remember last week we talked about the fish, and we read an informational text all about fish. Today we're going to be reading a narrative or story about another animal named Ferdinand, who is a book. This book, though, has something similar to what we've been working on with Miss G in ELA. This book talks about a character in Spain. So pay attention to the book as we read and think about some similar things you might see that are the same as Spain when you talk about it in ELA. We're also going to be discussing who the character is. So we already know it's about the bull named Ferdinand. We're going to be talking about the setting. We already know that it's in Spain. We're going to talk about what happened first, what happened next, and what happened at the end. All right? And then next week, we are going to be doing true facts about bulls. So we're going to get to know a little bit more about bulls. Let's get right into our story. I'm going to start with our title, The Story of Ferdinand by Monroe Leaf. This, I'm thinking, is Ferdinand because he is on the cover of this story. All right. Drawings or illustrations by Robert Lawson. Here is our title page, and it shows us the title again, The Story of Ferdinand. They show us a picture of Ferdinand here again. The author, Monroe Leaf. The illustrator, Robert Lawson. Ooh. So here is where it starts. Once upon a time in Spain. So they're showing us Spain right here. Once upon a time in Spain. And you can see the little bulls down here at the bottom. While we read through the rest of the story, I'm not going to talk much. I'm just going to read it for you guys to hear. But this is exciting for me. So once upon a time in Spain, there was a little bull. And his name was Ferdinand. All the other little bulls he lived with would run and jump and butt their heads together. But not Ferdinand. He liked to just sit quietly and smell the flowers. He had a favorite spot out in the pasture under a cork tree. It was his favorite tree, and he would sit in its shade all day and smell the flowers. So here's a picture of him in his favorite spot under the tree. And it's called a cork tree because, as you can see, the items that grow out of the tree are shaped like corks. So he's under his favorite tree, sitting and smelling the flowers. Sometimes his mother, who was a cow, would worry about him. She was afraid he would be lonesome all by himself. "Why don't you run and play with the other little bulls and skip and butt your head?" she would say. But Ferdinand would shake his head. "I like it better here, where I can sit just quietly and smell the flowers." His mother saw that he was not lonesome, and because she was an understanding mother, even though she was a cow, she let him just sit there and be happy. Now, as the years went by, Ferdinand grew and grew until he was very big and strong. So as you can see here, when he was a week old, he was this tiny, and then he grew and grew, and this is 1 year, and then 2 years later, he is so tall and very big, and his horns grew out. All the other bulls who had grown up with him in the same pasture would fight each other all day. They would butt each other and stick each other with their horns. What they wanted most of all was to be picked to fight at the bullfights in Madrid. So Madrid is a city in Spain, and there they would have these bullfights. Here you're seeing a sign that's advertising bullfight at the Madrid Stadium. And it looks like it says July 12th, but I'm not sure. And all the bulls are here looking at it, and they want to go and fight. But not Ferdinand. He still liked to just sit quietly under the cork tree and smell the flowers. One day, five men came in very funny hats to pick the biggest, fastest, roughest bull to fight in the bullfights in Madrid. All the other bulls, hold on, let's just make sure you can see that. Here we go. All the other bulls ran around, snorting and butting, leaping and jumping, so the men would think that they were very strong and fierce and pick them. Ferdinand knew that they wouldn't pick him, and he didn't care. So he went out to his favorite cork tree to sit down. He didn't look where he was sitting, and instead, let's just make sure this is focused so you guys can see it. Here we go. All right. He didn't look where he was sitting, and instead of sitting on the nice cool grass in the shade, he sat on a bumblebee. Oh no. Well, if you are a bumblebee and a bull sat on you, what would you do? I would just sting him. And that is just what that bee did to Ferdinand. Wow, did it hurt! Ferdinand jumped with a snort. He ran around, puffing and snorting, butting and pawing the ground as if he were crazy. The five men saw him, and they all shouted with joy. Here was the largest and fiercest bull of all, just the one for the bullfights in Madrid. So they took him away for the bullfight day in a cart. There they go in the cart, off to Madrid. Now what a day it was. Flags were flying, bands were playing, and all the lovely ladies had flowers in their hair. They had a parade into the bull ring. First came the banderillos with long, sharp pins with ribbons on them to stick in the bull and make him mad. Next came the picadores, who rode skinny horses, and they had long spears to stick in the bull and make him madder. So what it looks like, I think, is that they used the spears and the sticks to make him mad the same way the sting from the bee made him mad. What do you think? Moving on. Then came the Matador, the proudest of all. He thought he was very handsome and bowed to the ladies. He had a red cape and a sword and was supposed to stick the bull last of all. Then came the bull. And you know who that was, don't you? Ferdinand. They called him Ferdinand the Fierce, and all the banderillos were afraid of him, and the picadores were afraid of him, and the matador was scared stiff. Ooh. Ferdinand ran to the middle of the ring, and everyone shouted and clapped because they thought he was going to fight fiercely and butt and snort and kick his horns around. But what do you think happened? Not Ferdinand. When he got to the middle of the ring, he saw the flowers in all the lovely lady's hair, and he just sat down quietly and smelled. He wouldn't fight and be fierce no matter what they did. He just sat and he smelled. And the banderillos were mad and the picadores were madder. And the matador was so mad he cried because he couldn't show off with his cape and sword. So they had to take Ferdinand back home. Now, for all I know, he is sitting there still under his favorite cork tree, smelling the flowers just quietly. He is very happy. The end. Now, on the back cover on the page, it says here, this is the story of Ferdinand, a little bull who would rather sit and smell the flowers than fight in the bull ring. This is one of my favorite stories, and this is also one of my mom's favorite stories. So when the movie came out, hint, hint, there's a movie, guys. It's called Ferdinand the Movie. When the movie came out, we were so excited to watch it to see if it was the same as the story. Now, if you guys have time while you're home, maybe, just maybe, you can watch it and look and see the similarities and the differences between a movie and a written story. All right? Now, you guys have been learning all about Spain with Miss G and ELA. So think about what you learned from those lessons and how they connect to the story now. And if you'd like, you can write it down, make a video, take a picture, or send me, myself, Miss G, or Miss Shema, and they will show it to me, and I will post it up next week, okay? Now, this is not a required assignment. This is if you want to, but I would love to see all your ideas, okay? Next week, like I said, we will be doing true facts. Ugh, my mind is in the clouds today. We will be doing true facts about bulls, so get ready for that. Now, before I go, we're gonna be doing some shout outs. And today I only have just a few, not too many, but I think it's important to shout these guys out. So first I have Ariane here, and Ariane does an amazing job every week. She writes her sentences, she writes her trick words, and she also practices her penmanship and the way she writes. Thank you so much for being consistent with your writing. I'm very happy to see this. Oh, I also have a video that you sent me, but I'm gonna remember to post that up on Monday, okay? Because I didn't put it into my laptop yet, but I'm gonna remember to post it on Monday, all right? So hold out for that. Don't worry, I didn't forget about it. Next I have here Carmelo. Carmelo practices writing his trick words as well for the day, and he also practices the sentences that we work with during our lesson. So this was on June 1st, and on that day we practiced writing Tom sat on the mat, and we also practiced Beth sat on the mat. Great job. I love to see the progress that you are making. You are doing a fabulous job writing your name. I remember we were having a hard time in school with the name, and now look at you. You're writing your first and your last name right here. Beautiful job. I love to see that. Lastly, I had a few other friends that I wanted to shout out, but unfortunately, I'm having a difficult time finding that right now. I'm so sorry, but I will definitely be shouting you guys out on Monday. I just received some emails as well, so I'm going to check those out and see what's going on. Thank you guys so much for doing your work, being independent learners, and getting through this time. I'm very proud of all of you for all the work that you have been doing. Remember to do 30 minutes of ELA as well as 30 minutes of iReady. Continue to practice, and I will see you all on Monday. Bye, Kindergarten.